Hi everyone, this is Maggie from Sew Empty Handed, and I have a video sew along for my newest pattern, the Light of the Moon Crossbody. If you have not purchased the Light of the Moon Crossbody pattern yet, you can do so by heading to my website, sewemptyhanded.com, or you can go directly to the PayHip storefront at payhip.com/sewemptyhanded. I have had a few people complain that they are unable to add any patterns to their cart when they're accessing PayHip through my website. So to avoid that, you can go ahead and go right to payhip.com/sewemptyhanded, and that shouldn't give you any issues. Let's talk about the Light of the Moon Crossbody. This is, as I said, my newest pattern. And here she is. Features of this bag are, first, we have a zipper pull with a turn lock closure. This makes it a nice security feature so someone can't come up and unzip your bag. And then we have front panel, back panel with an exterior zipper pocket as well. And then when we undo the zipper and open, we have one main pouch, two main pouches that are closed with that zipper, and then an inside zipper pocket. And then between those, there are these pockets here. And in these panels, we have card slots. There are 4 on each, so for a total of 8. This is the cotton woven version. The cotton woven version is the one that will have 8 card slot panels. The vinyl version is a different technique for the card slots, and you will get 6 on each side for a total of 12. So that's what we have here. And then, of course, we have the D-ring connectors for your crossbody strap that you can either make yourself or you can use a pre-made strap. You could also make yourself a little wrist strap and use it as a clutch. It is maybe a large clutch, but you could do it. Light of the Moon Crossbody bag, you can make this as easy or as complicated as you'd like. This is with all the features. You could make it not using the turn lock zipper pull feature, just use a regular zipper pull. You could do the inside panels without the card slots. That will make putting this together a lot quicker. There she is, the Light of the Moon Crossbody. And now let us begin the sew along video. I have all of my pieces cut out. I'm making mine out of a canvas that is from Cotton and Twirls. A beautiful sunflower glow in the half scale. So I'm going to be doing the woven version of the card slot. So I've got my long card slot pieces, and I've got the remainder of my pieces here as well. I also have my zipper pull is currently drying. I glued the ends together, and I'm going to stitch the perimeter of that once that's dry. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first step on making this bag is going to be making the card slots. I'm using woven for mine, so I'm going to be following the woven instructions. If you're using vinyl for your exterior and you're using vinyl for the inside part of the middle pouches or the inside part of the outer pouches, there is a way to make it with vinyl. It just won't be in this specific video. Anyway, so I already went ahead and marked all of my measurements. I did that by making like a snip. Okay. And I have 2 of these. So I already have one pressed. So basically, this is the top. You're going to start at the top, and you're going to fold on those first marks, right sides together. So you can see here. The little snips that I made, and then you're just going to go back and forth. So that was right sides together. So now we're going to fold on the next line, wrong sides together. Again, I already pressed this, so that's just so it's clear and not so messy when I'm trying to fold it. I pressed it already. So we just did wrong sides together, and now we're going to go to the next marks, and we're going to do right sides together, and then wrong sides, and then right sides, and then wrong sides, right sides, wrong sides. So it gives us 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 card pockets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then you should you can measure this to make sure it's about 6.5. It's a little long, so I'll probably end up trimming off the bottom a little bit. But the first thing I'm going to do now that once you fold it, you want to make sure you press each of these, and then I'm going to do a top stitching across each of these folds. Okay, so now each of my pocket is top stitched. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and base stitch down the sides to keep these in place. I usually start at the bottom because it's easier, because then you don't hit the lip coming down, so it's easier to keep them aligned. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to take the second piece. I'm going to make the second set of card slots. So this one's top stitch, both top stitch, and I'm going to do the basting on the sides. Then we have the 2 card slots. So now these go on the inside portion of the outer panels of the pouch. These go on the inside portion of the outer pouch panels. So then we're going to take our side panels, and we're going to put these together, just making sure which side's up and down. Okay, put these together. That one here, and this one here, and this one here. That one like that. I'll do this one. Trying not to be too repetitive. Okay, so this is kind of how the layout I want. So let's do this one first. The right side panel, I'm going to align this edge, put them right sides together, and then I will stitch them together, a 1/4 inch seam allowance, open it up, top stitch, and then I will do the same on this side. 1/4 inch seam allowance, stitch together, open up, top stitch. I'll show you. So I've stitched this together. I haven't done the top stitching yet, but I did both sides to attach. I'm going to open this up. I'm going to press this. We'll have the seam allowance go toward the side panels. And you can use an iron if you'd like, or you can just finger press. And then I'm going to top stitch 1/8 inch seam allowance from the 1/8 inch away from the seam allowance down on the side panel, and I will do the same on that side as well. And there we have a finished inside outer pouch panel. It'll be a little bit more clear once we get all these done. So we have this done. I'm going to check it against the size of my outside ones, and they should match pretty close. Yeah, pretty good. So now I'm going to do that again with this piece. So I just wanted to show on this one, you can see that my card slot panel was a little bit longer than my side panels. So I just aligned with the top, and then I'm going to trim this even. Now that I have these together, I did already do some SF 101 on the side panels. I didn't do anything on the card slots because I didn't want to get too thick. But now I'm going to take some, I think I'm going to use some Decoville Light because I don't want it to be too thick. And I'm not looking for this one to be too puffy because this is a, this is a durable canvas. So I'm going to just take some Decoville Light, and I'm going to, the size of this panel, and I'm going to adhere it on to both. And then I'm going to add it to these two because I don't have it on these yet. Okay, so I just interfaced with some Decoville Light, so a little sturdier. The next step has you draw the lines, the stitch lines for when you attach this to the inner pouch. You don't really need that on the bigger exterior pouch piece because we're going to be sewing them together with this inner piece on top, or inner pouch piece on top. But I do have them there because if you're using like a vinyl that's kind of soft and you don't want to put Deco-Villi or any sort of interfacing on it, but I suggest just adding some along those stitch line, at least in the top part, because that seam is going to have like a lot of pressure on it, and you want to help avoid your vinyl from ripping. Okay, after we finish these panels, we're going to attach the lining panel to them. So take one of the cardstock panels, and you're going to take one of the linings for the main pouch, and you're going to put them right sides together, and then we're going to stitch across the top, 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then we will fold open and onto each other so they're wrong sides together and top stitch. Okay, so these were stitched together and then folded back and then top stitched across the top fold. And we can set these aside for now. Okay, so the next part is where we're going to work up the main exterior panels. So the ones that are going to be on the front and back. These are the interior main panel, and then these are the exterior main panel. Okay, so you're gonna have one that's designated as the front. I'm gonna pick this one as my front. We're going to insert the post part of the turn lock, and we want to mark down. I'm gonna use it this way because this gives me the extra inch or half inch. We're mark down 1.5 inches by 1.5 inches, and then you're just gonna put a little dot. Mark right there. See it right there. Okay, that's going to be the center point. And then I've got my washer. And I'm going to center that. It's going to be right there. It doesn't have to be exact, but you want to try to get it as parallel with the sides as possible, so that way it's on evenly. I think they go through these brackets. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. And then, just give me 1 second. Okay, and then I'm going to take my seam ripper. Okay. And I'm just going to make a little slash there. Just enough to get these posts through. Go. And then I'm going to grab a little scrap of foam interfacing and put it behind here to kind of cushion it. Okay, so I got a little piece of foam, got some slits in it. I'm just going to slide that on and then put the washer on. Okay, and then I'm going to push brackets down. Okay. And there we have it. And that's all we're doing for the front for now. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take our back piece and the zipper pocket accent. Mine's already cut out of vinyl. And then this is going to go centered. So let me find the center. If I was doing this right, I would have had the center already marked, but I am not. There. I'm just gonna, since I'm here, mark the center on the outside too, other side. Alright, so this is the top. I'm gonna take some double-sided tape, and we're gonna stitch at the top part and around the bottom part. So I'm just gonna stick this in the middle, and then I don't have to worry about stitching on it. And that way my needle doesn't get all gummed up. I'm not gonna do the sides. It's all right. and then peel off backing, and then I'm going to find center again. I'm using this using this long line here so that way I can actually see it at the end here. I'm gonna press the top part down, and then I want to make sure it's like not stretched. And there we go. That's the first part. Now that I have stuck on there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stitch about 1/8 of an inch away from the outer edge, and I'm going to go all the way around. Okay, so I have stitched all the way around, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my rotary cutter and my mat, and I'm going to do I'm going to cut like a line right through the middle, and then I'm going to use my scissors from the back, and then I'm going to cut out as much as I can and try to get within 1/4 inch of this line. You don't need to get any closer than that, just enough so there's a little bit overlapping, but you can't see any from the outside. So I went ahead and cut my slit, and now I'm going to use my scissors. There we go. Can't see any from that side. Okay, 7-inch zipper. You're going to take your 7-inch zipper, and we need our zipper pocket linings here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the zipper pocket onto the lining, or the zipper onto the linings first. So you're going to take one of the lining pieces right side up, and you're going to base stitch the zipper in place there. Okay, just clarify right side up of the lining piece, and then the wrong side of the zipper tape down, so both the right sides are facing you. Then we're going to do the same thing on the other side, right side up, and then we're going to flip and use the other unsewn edge, and we're going to baste that together. So now we have them both attached. The linings are right sides facing. Okay, now you want to put on your zipper pull. I think the common convention is to have the zipper pull to the left when the zipper pocket is closed. So we're just going to kind of put this in place and center it. What we want to do is we're going to do the bottom edge first, and so we want to flip up the pocket pieces so they are upward, and then honestly really just need to align the top, or align the bottom one, because we're just going to stitch at the bottom. We're going to start about 1/8 of an inch away from this corner, and then stitch all the way across, and then stop. And then we're going to move the pockets down toward the bottom, and then we'll start where we stopped, go up, around, and back down. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do that first step. Okay, so there we have the bottom edge is stitched, and now we're going to pull these down. You're going to fold this, and then we're going to pull this one down as well. And then I'm actually going to zip this all the way close, and then it'll fit in like that. And we're going to start right here, go up, across the top, and then back down to meet where we started. Okay, my zipper pocket is attached. Now what we want to do is you're going to, I just did it off camera, but you want to trim the pocket linings so they're the same length. The one on the bottom was going to be a little bit longer. So you trim those even, and then we're going to stitch around the 3 open sides. Okay, my 3 sides are now stitched. I did about a 1/4 inch seam allowance. You just want to make sure that they're sewn closed, so that way when you use the pockets, nothing's going to fall out. And then we are done with this back panel. So we have the back and we have the front. Now is a great time to add your business tag or any sort of branding or handmade tags or whatever you want to put in. Okay, so what we're going to do now is you're going to take your 2 exterior panels. The tops you want to have, you kind of want to align them so the tops are kind of toward each other because the zipper is going to go here. And this way we can visualize which way the zipper needs to go. You're going to take your 14-inch zipper and you want to separate the tape and then designate one side as the rounded off side. Take some double-sided tape. We're going to put it about at the top with some hanging off and then push that around the back. Just like that. And then you're going to peel the backing off. And then basically we're going to align the edges. Let's get the focus on that. Okay, so you're going to align the edges and fold like that. And then you're going to take this and push it back toward the tape. Aligning all the side edges. Sorry about my phone. I'm just going to add a little, I didn't get quite enough on the back edge to get this to stick. So I'm going to add a little bit more. So you see the back looks like this. And then we got it like that. So let's see. We're going to take this other one and do the same thing. I'm going to need a bigger piece. I'm going to put one piece here and I'll get a new piece for that other side. You just need to make sure you're doing it on the correct side of the tape. The rounded edges, the rounded off ends need to be together, so the zipper tape goes together like this. So we know you have the right side, so we're going to do this same thing again. Line up the corners and then push this back. And then you have it like that. You want the rounded off end to be where it's closed, and where it's closed needs to be aligned with this turn lock. So it needs to be closed on this side. So this is how it's going to look when it is finished, right? So now this one goes on the back piece, this one goes on the front piece. So I'm just going to flip it over. I'm not going to line it yet because I have to draw my lines, but now I know which goes to which and which way it goes. We're going to draw a line 3/4 of an inch, make a mark on from both ends. Just make the mark within the seam allowance. We're going to zoom in a little bit more. Okay, just make it within the seam allowance. We're going to do that with this one as well. This is on the top edge. Okay. And then you can see my it's not quite sticking on the back. Let's line this back up the way we had it for visual sake. Okay. All right. This is the front. This is the back. This is the rounded edge to the side. So you want to align the rounded edge with this first mark on the left side. Clip that in place. And then we're going to clip all the way to the next mark. Like that. And then we're going to do the same on this one. My rounded edge is on the side. These go with zipper tape right sides facing the right side. I'm going to start this at that mark as well. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is take these to my machine and I'm going to baste in place. But when I am basting, so I'm going to start on this side. I'm going to baste down at between 1/8 and 1/4, at around 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to baste down, and then when I get to this mark, right before I get to this mark, I'm going to pull, right when I get there, I'm going to pull the rest of the tail, zipper tail away. So this, it won't be attached to this 3/4 inch remaining part of the panel. Alright, so we have the base stitch putting together, and then you can see I got to that spot and I moved the tail out of the way. I'm just going to test this, that I have the zipper in the right way. So if you go to the open tail of the zipper tape and you put in zipper, you want to make sure that your zipper ends where your turn lock is, because that's the kind of the security feature. Now that our outer panels are done, we're going to attach the lining. So you're going to grab 2 of the lining pieces, 1 for each panel. And for both of these, you're going to align so the right side of the exterior and the right side of the lining fabric match up, and then we're going to sew across the zipper, and then making sure you keep your zipper tail out of the way. I'm going to go all the way across with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, so I stitched this together, and now fold these back, and I'm going to top stitch across the fold here, and I've just got it clipped in place so that way I can top stitch. So I'm going to do that on both of these. Moving on to the inner pouch, the first thing we want to do is make sure we've drawn the lines on the outside panels, which I have not, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And now we're going to prep the zipper, so you need your 7.5 inch zipper, tape, your zipper pull, and then your 2 zipper tabs, which I think I left on the other. Oh, they're there. Zipper tabs. The zipper pull onto the zipper, and then on each side you're going to take your zipper tabs and stitch them together. The right sides together, stitch at a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and do that on both sides. Okay, so zipper pull on, and then I stitch across to add the zipper tabs, and then what we're going to do is you're fold this in to meet with the edge, and then we're going to fold it over. And then you want to stitch across, top stitch across here to keep it all in place. And you do that on the other side as well. Okay, so I have the zipper done, and then the next step is going to be putting your panels onto the zipper. So you want to make sure you're always putting the zipper on the top part of the exterior inner pouch panel. So this is top and this right side up. The zipper is going to go right side down. And we're going to center it. There should be about a 1/2 inch gap on both sides. And then you'll take one of the lining pieces and put that right side down on top. And you sew all the way across. If you'd like, you can baste onto one first and then add the other, whatever your preference is. So we're going to do that with this side, and then we will open that up, top stitch, and then we'll do the same on the other side with the other 2 panels. Okay, so I've attached both sides and top stitch, and so I have this nice smaller pouch that's going to go in the middle. The next thing that we want to do is we're going to have to get our D-ring connector piece, and you'll want to fold it in half or draw a line down the center. And then we're going to meet the long edge into that center line. You can use double-sided tape if you need to, whatever you need to get this to stay. And then you're going to top stitch 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch from each fold all the way down. And then you cut this in half, and that gives you 2. Okay, so I have that stitched, and now I'm just going to fold this in half. And I'm going to cut it in 2. So now we have 2. You want to grab your 3/4 inch D-rings. Slide those on. And then if you want to clip and then top stitch to keep this in place, you can, or you can leave it like this and just baste into place. We're going to put one on each side. So it doesn't really matter which you pick. So just pick one, and then you want to come down about at least a 1/2 inch. And then I like to have it sticking out at least a 1/2 inch as well. And then you want to pin or clip that in place only to the exterior panel, so not to the lining. And then you're going to baste that in place and do the same on this side. There we have that attached in place. Okay, now we're going to do the fun part. We need to attach these exterior fabric panels to each of the card slot. This is going to be a little tricky, but basically this is going to fit. Let me zoom out a little bit. This is going to fit evenly into the center, right? I think I have it 3/4 inch, 3/4 inch from the sides, from the bottom, and from the side. And then you're going to stitch this in place. Make sure you pull these out of the way so they don't get stitched. But you're going to stitch on this line here, up here, and there. And that's going to keep that in place. That one out of the way too. And then if you'd like, if you don't want this at like a point right here, I also make like a little T. Kind of go up here, and then I kind of turn and then go up and down, so that way it makes like a little T. So there's not one just point of pressure right there. But yeah, so I'm going to take that to my machine now. Oh, and another reminder, you're only doing this to the exterior panels, so get all of your linings out of the way. Okay, so this has been attached. We've got our inner pouch and then the card slot panel of one of the outer pouch. Now we need to attach the other one to this side. So we're going to do the same thing. You want to take all the lining, push all the lining pieces away on both. And these are going to go right sides together, so I'm going to put this one lining up, right side up, and then I'm going to align this. I want it to be 3/4 inch from the bottom, and then center. So it's going to be right there, and then I'm going to stitch along this stitch line that I drew. Okay, so now both are added, and now we have the inside of the main pouch mostly done. So the first thing now what we are to do is we have to create and finish off this middle pouch, which is going to be a little tricky. So basically what we're going to need to do is we need to fold in all of this panel to get it out of the way. Alright, so now you can see I have, these are the inside pouches, and then this is the inside pouch lining. And so what I will do is line this up. We're not going to sew the bottom of the lining together because we're going to turn it through that. I'm going to line that up, and then I'm going to make sure I have everything out of the way. And you want to point this toward the lining. I promise this is the hardest part. Get that out of the way. Make sure your D-ring connector's out of the way. Why are these taped together? And then so have these line up, pushed toward the lining. And then this is actually, you're going to fold this a quarter to ½ inch in, probably about 3/8 maybe. Okay, and now I'm only going to stitch on this edge. I have this open so that way I can hold any interior fabric or any of the panels I don't want sewn, make sure they're out of the way, and I'm going to use a narrow foot. Alright, so I have the one side stitched, and I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to stitch the other side, and that just leaves this, because the easiest one to stitch is going to be this bottom one. So I'm leaving this for last, and then it helps me leave it open so that way I can manipulate the fabric as I need to get out of the way. And then make sure your inside zipper is open, or else you're not going to be able to turn. But yeah, so I'm going to clip these together. And I will stitch down this side with 1/4 inch seam allowance, just like I did on that side. Okay, now I have both sides done, and I'm going to fold this out of the way. And then I'm going to stitch this across at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, so I stitched that across, and you can tell I started and stopped on these, or I stopped on this stitch about a 1/4 inch, so that way I can trim the corners without worrying about trimming the sewn lines. And then I'm going to pull it right side out. have this one. I'm just gonna use this, it's not sharp, to poke out the bottom corners. I'm gonna pull this out anyway because we're gonna use that. We gotta stitch that closed. And just poke the corners out. And then take the lining out, and then we've already kind of got the fold started. So you just want to fold in these. Just get that evened out, and then you're going to stitch this closed. All right, so now that's done. We got our inner pouch, and now we got to put together the outside pouch. Yeah, check your tabs, your D-rings. They're good. Yeah, looking good. All right, so we are going to do one side. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. This is the back, and this is the front. So the front, which way? Okay, so my zipper is closed this way. When the zipper is up here, it will be closed. I'm gonna have these close on the same side. If you want them to close on the other side, you just flip this around. This is the way I'm going to have it look, so that way they both close on this side. So I'm going to take the back one away, do that one last. And we're going to have, okay, so now we have this together. These are the two lining pieces that are going to get sewn together. So grab those and have everything else drop this way. And then we will pin that together, or clip that together. I should really bring my clips back over. Okay. You want to make sure your zipper tail stays out of the way, so I'm just going to clip it back like that. Gonna clip it so I know which one it's attached to. Okay. Okay. Should be about the same. Okay, now this is the card pocket panel you're working with, and we need to attach it to the same exterior piece that is attached to this lining. So we have to push the rest of the bag inside. Very similar to the smaller one, but a little bit easier. But I'm going to do it the same way, where I only do one side at a time. I'm going to throw clips everywhere. Okay. And I'm going to make sure no other panel is in your seam. So it's only the two pieces you're putting together here. Here. Okay, so for this one, I am also going to fold this in like 3/8 of an inch to a 1/2 inch. I think I said 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch last time, but you definitely want it a little bit more than a 1/4 inch.
We'll worry about that later. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to start at 3/8 of an inch, and then when I get here, I'm going to gradually decrease my seam allowance to 1/4 inch, and then stitch with a 1/4 inch seam allowance down, and then stop with a 1/4 inch left. Okay, so this side is stitched, and now we're going to flip it over. And I already clipped it together, but you just want to make sure you get any other fabric out of the way, so you're only putting together the 2 exterior here, or the 2 outer fabric, exterior fabric, and the 2 linings. And then just like the other one, we're going to start at 3/8 of an inch, and then when we get close to this seam between the inlining and the exterior, we're going to decrease our stitch length, or seam allowance to a 1/4 inch, and do 1/4 inch all the way down and stop at a 1/4 inch before you get to the end. Alright, I've got both sides sewn, and now I'm going to do the bottom edge, so I'm just going to tuck this in. Don't have to worry about the zipper being closed, because there is no zipper at this point that can be closed, but we're going to stitch that across, 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then we're going to trim the corners and pull right side out. Okay, so I put it right side out, and now we're going to close this lining. Okay, and I'm going to stitch that closed. Alright, so that's done, and now we just have one more side to do. It's going to be right sides together, so you can see the unsewn perimeter here. And tuck that out of the way. Take your back panel, separate the lining from the exterior, and it's going to go on like that, so I'm going to match up. One side. And this actually should be a little bit easier on the other side because you don't really have any extra fabric and edges, so most everything's already done. You just gotta tuck your D-ring tabs out of the way. I like to line up where the exterior and lining meet, so that way that's even. And even if this doesn't end up being evenly. Okay, so I've got my one side, and I'm going to stitch down the one side first. I'm going to start at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and then gradually change to a 1/4 inch once I get to the seam, and do 1/4 inch all the way down, and stop at a 1/4 inch. And make sure you back stitch at the beginning and end. Okay, one side down. I forgot to fold this under. That's okay. I will just I'm gonna undo that and then re-stitch there. But then you want to do this other side. Make sure to fold back your lining first. I mean, you don't have to do that. You can just do it. I just find it. You know what? I'm not gonna bother. I will do it at the end. Here. And then this can start getting tricky because you gotta fold some in. I'm going to match that up. And then the rest of this together. Ran out of clips. This one. we're gonna do the same thing on this side that we did on that side. Okay, so now both sides are done, and now we're gonna do the bottom. Just kind of move this out of the way. Make sure you don't get your zipper pocket lining in there, and then I'm just gonna clip this all together and sew together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, that's done. I'm going to trim the corners. And pull through here. Once again, there's no zipper yet. This is the last turn you gotta do. We're almost there. These corners out. And then I'll tuck that in before I even before I sew the pocket together. I'm just going to make sure everything looks good. That like none of these seams are, everything's good. And then I'm going to put my zipper pull on and make sure that fits. I don't have my zipper pull ready quite yet. I'm going to go ahead and stitch around this and then insert the other part of the turn lock. Alright, so this is the back. This isn't the best stitching job, but it is what it is. You're going to take apart this part of your turn lock. Okay, so we need 2 holes for the screws and then the hole in the middle. So I have marked the middle of mine. So now I'm going to draw where did my pen go? There we go. So I'm going to use this as a guide. I'm going to do a hole punch there, and then a bunch of hole punches to get this out. Alright, so here we have this. Okay, and then that should fit onto here. Now we just got to put it on the zipper. And this should fit right there. And there we go. Or this way. Okay, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to want to trim the zipper down a little bit. It really just depends on how wide you want this to open, but notice how the longer you can go out, the wider it opens. So if I'm in like this, it can't really open as wide. So I'm probably going to cut like an inch and a half off. Okay, and now I'm going to put a zipper end on. Zipper end. Actually, there's singe that first, and then we can push that in there. That. There we go. Zipper stop. Okay, I still need to sew this, but all it needs is that to get finished. And then a strap. And we're done.
And that's a wrap on the sew along video for the Light of the Moon crossbody. I hope that it provided some guidance and help if you were getting stuck in some parts, and that you were able to successfully complete your bag. Now all you have to do is get your crossbody strap and you're good. Thanks everyone.